is Earth 911 Sustainability in Your Ear, and we're back with another innovator interview, this time to talk about eliminating medication-related waste. One of the questions Earth 911 gets most often is how to recycle or donate prescription medicine bottles made from a type of number 5 plastic that is seldom recycled. In 2022, Americans are expected to fill almost 4.8 billion prescriptions and purchase another $42 billion worth of dietary supplements using packaging that goes mostly unrecycled. Our guest today is Heather-Florio, CEO of Desert Harvest, a maker of aloe vera-based nutritional supplements. Desert Harvest is moving away from single-use plastic pill packaging in favor of compostable plant-based refill bags and smart bottles that feature Bluetooth connectivity and an app that helps customers manage refills and keep the packaging out of landfills. It's a potential interesting direction for all of the medication we use, and we wanted to find out more about it. You can find out more about Desert Harvest at www.desertharvest.com. Desert Harvest is all one word. Welcome to the show, Heather. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. Desert Harvest has been making pesticide and paraben-free, non-GMO, aloe-based supplements since 1993. So you've been working to be natural and organic all along. Have you been searching for more sustainable packaging for that time?
Yes, it's always been a thought in our mind. We have always thought about when plastic was the only option, we wanted to use the safest plastics possible. It's always a thought in our mind in anything that we do, from how much paper we print in the office to the use of our farm vehicles and transportation and how we get from point A to point B. We are always constantly thinking about how we can be more sustainable as a company.
So tell us about the two new packages and how they work together to make refilling sustainable.
So originally what started this conversation was we had been approached by an Israeli company that had developed many years ago a smart water bottle. In which they were able to track with an app water consumption, daily water consumption, so that you could get in your daily water intake. We were able to talk with them about adapting that technology, and they created a smart pill bottle that, using the same similar technology, could also track pill consumption, creating reminders of usage via the app, via the color on the lid of the bottle. It changes from red to green to let you know you've taken it. And we wanted to go a little bit further than that. So then it became a question of how could we eliminate the single-use plastic bottles at the same time. We had been working with Tricor Braun, who was our bottle maker, and said, how could we do this? What could we do? And they said, oh, we have this amazing new technology. We've been slowly over the years trying to make it 100% compostable, home compostable, that you could put it in your garden. And so they were able to adapt a coffee bag into the packaging that we needed that would work on our lines for our supplements, utilizing even plant-based ink. So everything, the closure, the packaging, everything is 100% compostable in that bag.
That's really interesting that the pill bottle is providing additional feedback. I hadn't expected the idea, for instance, that it could tell you that you took your medicine today. That's really interesting. Now, how does it work? Does it have a sensor that is looking inside and can tell that it is nearly empty and therefore sends an alert that you need to do a refill?
Yes, so it is tracking consumption using their patented technology that they developed that allows to, and so of course, because I don't know the full breadth of their patented use, but they are literally creating it so that it's tracking the consumption via a mix of weight, volume, and to let you know each time the cap is open. So if you open the cap, take your pills for that day and then close it, it's going to stay green. But it will also remind you on the app, if you never open that pill, you don't notice that it's red and you walk away for the day or something, it's going to then remind you on your app, hey, you forgot to take your medication. You forgot to take your supplements today. And what was really interesting for us about that is that we didn't think about the practical application use until we started talking to people about it. And they said, oh my goodness, I need this for my parents. They're always calling me because they can't remember if they took their medication, right. But I'm in New York and they're in Florida. How am I going to do this? Or I'm at work and they're at home, or they're in their nursing home. How am I going to do this? And so now this allows even a caregiver to be able to have it directly on the app and say, oh, mom, you didn't take your medication. Go take it right now.
And that's really interesting.
Yeah, it creates a whole nother level of accountability that we didn't even think about.
Now, your partner invented the packaging. Is this something that you have exclusively, or is it going to be available for use by other companies?
Eventually it will be for use by other companies, but for a portion of time, for the first couple of years, it's licensed directly to us. As the technology here in the United States, we will be the only one having this technology.
Now, how long does the smart bottle last? I assume it has a battery, and that would either need to be recharged or replaced. And the last logical question is, if it no longer is working, is it recyclable itself?
Yes. So we wanted to go a step further in this. We roughly say, just like your iPhone, any kind of technology, they've roughly guesstimated the life of the bottle to be about 5 years. Okay. So we wanted to go to this is made out of stainless steel. We wanted to go a bit further. And so we will be offering postage paid labels and packaging to return that back to us at the end of the life, because then we can reuse all of the components in the bottle and reuse the materials. So we're still not filling landfills. We're just reusing the materials. So that was something that was very critical for us as a company to be able to offer that exclusively. And then on top of that, for every single bottle sold, we will actually be removing a ton of waste from landfill or from land and oceans as well for every single bottle sold.
So you have a donation program that you're doing that with?
Yeah, so there's a great program called Clean Hub. And so we were able to partner with them. So okay. Each time we sell a bottle, we actually get to track and watch what happens and how much waste is being removed or recycled as a result of every bottle that's sold. We actually get to track it directly on their website. And then over time, we'll be posting that on our website.
Well, that's great. Now, I want to congratulate you first on taking the step of owning the responsibility of taking care of the packaging at end of life. That's great to hear. Do you see a general move toward this kind of extended producer responsibility behavior going on in the industry, or are they all standing back waiting for the government to tell them they have to do this?
I think it's going to become imperative from a marketing standpoint. Sustainability is really becoming a marketing plug for many, many companies. And I'm hoping for us that we are setting that standard that then other supplement companies, other pharmaceutical companies, manufacturers can follow. Because then, yes, we have exclusive, but then that technology will be available to other companies. The packaging, the plant-based packaging is already available to the other companies. They can go to Tricor Bond. We want this to set a standard that other people will start following, and eventually they will suffer as a company from a marketing perspective if they don't, because our consumers are becoming more educated. They want this change. They see the impacts that are happening to our environment, that are happening. I don't think anybody can get away from it. And so ultimately, as companies, we collectively need to be that change. And if you aren't that change, then I would say that over time you wouldn't survive.
Yeah, I also think that you're not going to be able to attract employees who want to work hard on their mission in life rather than simply working to make a buck. And that seems to be where the next generation of workers is headed.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It really, really is. All my staff has the exact same commitment that I do, and that the company goals have, and it is definitely something that when we are hiring, they actively say, "I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this change." And so, yes, definitely, sourcing employees would become highly difficult, and you're just going to fall by the wayside if you don't start making sustainable changes. We hear about it from everything from sustainable fashion, which Stella McCartney kind of set that standard back in the 90s for, and now everybody is starting to get on board. Same kind of concepts in the sustainable supplement industry. You've watched with packaging for bottling. I know that we are working on now trying to turn our skincare bottles so that we're working with a company that's gotten about 65% compostable at this point. And that's kind of about the highest that they've gone. And I know places like Coca-Cola, even I think Budweiser, other major companies like this are looking to change their single-use plastic bottling in the same exact way to compostable type packaging. And so the investment is happening. The technology is getting better and better. And companies need to take notice and start stepping up to that change, or they're going to fall by the wayside.
This is a great place to take a short break. We're going to be back with Desert Harvest's Heather-Florio in just a moment. We're back and we're speaking with Heather-Florio. She's the CEO of Desert Harvest about their new refillable smart bottles. So Heather, the smart bottle is offered for your on the site right now as a pre-order for $40. Does it come filled, or is it an add-on purchase in addition to what you would buy normally?
It is an add-on purchase. So our hope is that our consumers will buy this bottle, and then they will get the compostable bags that then they can just dump right into the bottles. And so this does not come filled with a particular product, because this can be used even outside of Desert Harvest products. So this isn't just programmed for Desert Harvest products. And so it can be used for any type of pill form, and tracked within the app. Of course, everything is going to be Desert Harvest branded.
Sure.
But yes, they can order it on our website and pre-order it right now. In the great world of sourcing materials, we had hoped to be shipping this month, and we are of course a little bit delayed. So right now we're targeting, as of right now, no holds, no more bumps. We're targeting that for those to start coming out of production in July at this point.
Offering it for other uses is, I think, a really clever approach to getting this out there, because your point about being able, for instance, to monitor my parents' medication practices it comes up all the time. And that is this is the beginning of a way of rethinking managing a very important flow of material that runs through the home. And if you are offering the Desert Harvest solution, then Desert Harvest also becomes a potential source of a lot of additional purchases. So very smart move. Now, is the compostable bag, when it's shipped in a sustainable package? Because that's one of the concerns that we often get from our listeners. They'll order something that is in a compostable package, but it comes in a non-compostable box or mailing label or mailing envelope. Have you also looked at how you reduce your shipping impact?
Yes, actually we have. So interestingly enough, we partner with USPS as well as FedEx because they have recycled packaging. It's the only packaging that we'll utilize. And in fact, the US Postal Service, most people probably don't know this, but all of their, like if you see their priority mail packaging, their express packaging, it is all recycled materials. And so they actually won the Cradle to Cradle Award for their packaging. And so we are very much about choosing what goes in our packaging, The addition, if we have to add any additional materials, we used recycled paper if we have to put additional materials in a packaging. And so everything is thought out that goes into the package that gets the product to you.
Let me ask you a little about the products that you sell. Your aloe-based product is made for women who suffer from interstitial cystitis, which I don't know a whole lot about. Tell us about the condition and how aloe relieves the bladder pain associated with it.
Oh, yeah. So actually, it is men and women. So, but predominantly women, about 75% women, about 25% men on average right now. The Interstitial Cystitis Association estimates about 8 to 12 million men and women in the United States alone suffer from interstitial cystitis. This is a debilitating bladder disorder. It is actually listed as one of the disability options to apply for disability. You imagine having a constant UTI that never goes away. There's no cure. Very, very limited treatments. The one drug that's currently on the market is undergoing class action lawsuits for causing retinal myopathy. And that is the options are limited. So we spend a lot of time advocating for interstitial cystitis. This is something we're very passionate about. Our company was founded because my aunt actually had the disease interstitial cystitis, and that is what created our patented concentrated aloe vera. She had my mother and her had gone to some random products conference, natural products conference, picked up some random bottle in the 90s, late 80s, and she had slept through the night, took the whole bottle though. And aloe vera naturally has what's called anthraquinones in them. They're latex chemicals that can act as an irritant to the colon, and over time have been proven to be carcinogenic. It can cause kidney damage, liver damage. And we have a patented process that filters a unique patented process that filters all of those out, as well as all of the insoluble fiber. And we use a patented freeze drying process that helps us retain all of the nutrients while getting rid of all of the negative components. And then we put that into an all natural vegan capsule. And so in our clinical trials, we did a double-blind placebo-controlled study. We had an 87.5% response rate of some or complete relief of all symptoms with just taking our capsules. And so we get to help a lot of people. We get to change a lot of lives. And then over time, we've developed our product line for pelvic health, for radiation and cancer patients undergoing radiation treatments. We have built and ourselves within the medical community to where we research all of our products. We don't bring anything to market without doing research. In fact, our CBD product we actually, and I know everybody goes CBD. I think there's something like nearing 8,000 brands in the United States of CBD. So, but understand that what we did isn't like everybody else. We actually went to McGill University up in Quebec, and we've been doing research studies to understand how it affects chronic pain in the body. We're using chronic pain models of nerve injury pain, arthritic pain, chemotherapy pain, surgical pain, MS pain. We've created all of the bladder pain. We're looking at all of these models to determine how pain is functioning in the body with CBD, and how, because right now everybody's throwing everything out there. Oh, it does this for me. It does that for me. It does this. And we really wanted to know, what does it do and what does it work for? And I'm really excited about the results. Can't talk about them, but they will be released at the FENS Neuroscience Conference in Paris in July this year.
So your hair and skincare products are also aloe vera based, or are you using other materials for those?
No, so aloe vera goes into every single one of our products. When you talk about skincare, we think of it in a different way. So when we think about creating our hair care products, we're thinking about the person who has eczema, the person who has psoriasis, the person. And so when we are going through all of our product formulation, for instance, our aloe vera gelée is 100% natural. This is what you would typically, as concentrated as you can get without, putting the plant directly on. So this is what you think about putting on a sunburn. This product is approved by the National Eczema Association. We're undergoing approval from the National Psoriasis Foundation. So that we can show what these products can and can't do for you. You might think about putting on a sunburn, but if you thought about putting it on acne, because it has salicylic acid in it. Naturally, aloe vera does. It has over 200 nutrients in them, 75 bioactive nutrients naturally in the aloe vera plant, minerals, active enzymes, antibacterials, antifungals. It is, it's a plant that's been used for medicinal reasons for over, I think the oldest documented case goes back to Egyptian times. So
now, you mentioned that you're working on skincare packaging alternatives. Are you thinking about refillable packaging, or or single-use bioplastic or compostable packaging? What do you think the right way to go with a liquid is in particular? Because that's a question that we've covered, and there's a lot of additional energy involved as well as carbon footprint because of the packaging when you use a lotion or a gel in a plastic bottle compared to some other form of package. What are you thinking in terms of the right way to design the future of this kind of packaging?
So, for us, we started looking, we've been talking with actually a company in Denmark specifically because they have developed we were thinking compostable initially, because, initially your thoughts go, you look at this, you think of, the recycled compostable type packaging. And it's like, how is a liquid going to stay in that? How is it in? And then you have to think about how it's going to be lined. What is it going to be lined with? How is it? And so packaging manufacturers are having a much harder time trying to get to 100% compostable. So that we can think about our packaging in a different terms, whether it's recycled, whatever we're able to do. It is evolving. And like I said, for instance, the company we're working with, and that I know Coca-Cola is working with some places, things like that. The most we've been able to get to right now, I think at this point, unless someone comes out with something else, is 65% compostable at this point. And so hopefully as the technology advances further and further and further, we'll be able to get that at a better point, because right now a lot of the focus is not going necessarily into skincare products and thinking about shaping those type of bottles. It's really going into the thought of the 12-ounce Coca-Cola bottle, or it's going into drinks right now a lot more than it's going into the skincare world. And so hopefully we're very closely watching what is happening in the beverage industry to see if as that comes out, we can adapt it into the skincare industry.
So would you imagine a future in which maybe you sell an original glass bottle and then a refillable bag, or a refill bag is dispensed on a regular cadence so that people keep it filled?
Potentially. It might be a situation where we're able to adapt our smart bottle. Because if you think about it, the smart bottle was originally developed for water, for liquid. So it might be a situation in which we adapt that technology to also remind you that you're running low on a skincare product, and develop something, yes, where we have compostable package, refillable, where you can refill your smart skincare bottle. It's all going into kind of our planning to ultimately see what will work best, but it has been a thought for us about the refillable option.
Interesting. That's a really fascinating idea that our our environment will be smart enough that it will tell us when we need to refill something, and therefore we can reduce our packaging use as a result. That's very intriguing. Tell us how our listeners can follow along with what you're doing, and where they can order Desert Harvest products.
Oh, yes, they can definitely follow us on all social, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I think we're on everything, TikTok. But definitely they can also visit us on our website at www.desertharvest.com. All of our information is there. And you're also welcome to call us anytime. We have amazing staff that are very knowledgeable. And that number is 800-222-3901.
Well, Heather, I want to thank you for taking some time to talk with us today.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. This has been very engaging, Mitch. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. We've been speaking with heather-florio. She's the Chief Executive Officer of Desert Harvest. They're a maker of aloe vera-based nutritional supplements and this fascinating new smart bottle technology. You can check out more at desertharvest.com. Desert Harvest is all one word, no dash, no space, desertharvest.com. You know, allowing people to make interesting choices as consumers is how business is going to begin to differentiate itself to support sustainability in the future. And it's great to see Desert Harvest and others working to replace the single-use packaging that we have come to depend on and unfortunately are addicted to. If we can change the whole way we distribute and use food, medicine, and otherwise, we can drastically reduce our environmental impact overall. So we need to get some creative people out in front. And, you know, one of the people that she mentioned during the conversation, Stella McCartney, is an example of the kind of pioneer. She just launched a whole line of clothing for 2022 that is based on mushroom and other forest floor materials. The McCartney family, if you think back about it, has pioneered organic food and a variety of natural product categories because of Paul McCartney's wealth. And it's interesting that a beetle has had additional influence generations after his initial success in changing the world. Look for things like that in your life. Look for the people like that in your life and help them succeed. And we'll have a much cleaner and more sustainable world. This is Earth911, Sustainability in Your Ear. We're going to be back with another innovator interview soon. In the meantime, folks, take a few minutes to share this podcast or any of the more than 280 that we have done with your friends and family. Let's get them thinking about new ways to purchase and use and recycle the things we depend upon. We, of course, are going to be back soon. In the meantime, folks, take care of yourself, take care of one another, and let's all take care of this beautiful planet of ours. Have a green day.